Hello ladies and gents, welcome to a talk about the European Super League, what it could mean for the PES 2022 licenses, not just the team licenses but also the player licenses. So could we possibly end up with Cristina Bonaldo and Gionel Desi? First, let's talk about the facts, and then we'll talk about who's threatening to do what, and then we'll cover the PES 2022 licenses. Things are seriously going to move fast from here, so stay tuned for the latest updates on the channel. So don't forget to hit subscribe and that notification bell. So what's the rule so far? So we've got 12 teams that have confirmed to intend to join a Super League, a European Super League, as founders. The Premier League's Big Six: Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, and Tottenham will be joined by the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, Inter Milan, and also AC Milan in founding the new competition. The European Super League will feature 20 clubs in total and run alongside the domestic leagues such as the Premier League. Founding clubs are being enticed with a share of around 3 billion grant from investment bank JP Morgan. The UK government have said it's sort of prepared to do everything it can and laid everything out on the table to prevent this from happening. There's plenty of people who've been very critical of this move, from France's president, you've got UEFA, the Premier League, all Europe's major leagues, player unions, and former players who all strongly criticise the move. Klopp, last night he said he does not agree with the move and that the clubs were not consulted, so they had no idea this was happening. So we ran a poll yesterday, and I just want to thank everyone who got involved. We had over 1,700 votes, and 86% of you said you were against the European Super League, whilst 14% said you were for it. And we'll look at some of your comments and the feedback towards the end of this video. 14 Premier League clubs not involved in the European Super League are going to meet today. So today being Tuesday the 20th of April. If you're curious about how the European Super League will work, on the Super League website it says that the Super League is a new European competition between 20 top clubs comprised of 15 founders with 5 annual qualifiers. There will be 2 groups of 10 clubs, each playing home and away fixtures within the group each year. Following the group stage, 8 clubs will qualify for a knockout tournament, playing home and away until the single match Super League Championship in a dramatic 4-week end to the season. Games will be played midweek and all clubs will remain in their domestic leagues. So obviously they're looking to replace the Champions League with this European Super League. That's all they want. So those are the facts. Now for some of the threats that have been coming out about what people are saying. So we've got the UEFA president who actually came out and said players who play in the European Super League will be banned from the Euros and World Cups. Chris Williams, who is a UEFA and FIFA accredited football journalist for AIPS Media, said, speaking to people in UEFA this morning, there's a genuine want for the 12 clubs to be immediately dismissed from all UEFA club competitions, and for Real Madrid, Barcelona, AC Milan and Liverpool to be stripped of their badges of honour. That's unreal really when you think about it, stripping clubs of their triumphs in the old European Cup and obviously the Champions League, and then players not being able to compete internationally. And I read yesterday that for clubs in the Premier League there is an existing rule which means they will have to quit the Premier League if they enter the European Super League. So the fact that they've signed up already to the European Super League could possibly mean we see the likes of Man City, Manchester United, Liverpool, et al. Get kicked out before the end of the season. I mean, it could be crazy. We could have West Ham or Leicester winning the Premier League. So just how realistic is this from happening? Everyone's, we've got all the clubs that have signed up for it, but it certainly does feel significant both for the future of English and European football. We've been here before with, what was it called? Project Big Picture. But what feels different this time is the level of planning. The furious reaction from the Premier League, UEFA and other European leagues just signifies how much this threatens the integrity of the domestic and European leagues. Clubs would need the approval of the associations who govern the domestic competitions to join an unsanctioned breakaway league. And Richard Masters, who's the Premier League chief exec, sent out a memo to all 20 Premier League clubs saying he cannot envisage any scenario where such permission would be granted. So what does this mean for PES 2022 licenses and teams in the European Super League? The real cause for concern for me is the FIF Pro license. So the FIF Pro license is a not-for-profit world players union that represents more than 65,000 players, both men and women, spread across 65 affiliated national player associations. Without this license, we would, see the likes of London White with Mammoth Whale on the wing, Gareth Bale, obviously. They actually came out, so FIF Pro actually came out on the 16th of April and said, threats of a breakaway competition and subsequent concessions to reform the European football competitions have shaped decision-making for years. This dynamic has replaced transparent and inclusive discussions on the opportunities of competitions reforms for all players, fans, clubs, leagues and federations. This is unacceptable for FIF Pro, our 64 national player associations and the 60,000 players we represent. We will vigorously oppose measures by either side that would impede the rights of players, such as exclusion from their national teams. In the best interests of the players and the whole industry, we are committed to working with all stakeholders towards decisions that support all levels of the game and repair its existing flaws. This statement seems to indicate FIF Pro will continue to manage the image rights for the 60,000 players they represent via player unions, even if the breakaway Super League exists. So these image rights could still be made available to Konami for PES 2022, but it does depend on a variety of factors. In regards to PES 2022, should the likes of Manchester United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal and Spurs remain in the Pro League for the 2021 and 2022 season, then the image rights for the players should still be held by FIF Pro, which means the players would still be accurately recreated in the game. With regards to team licensing in PES 2022, the chance has arrived for Konami to go out and secure the European Super League license, but I imagine it's going to take huge sums of money to secure them, and it's very unlikely they will. They'll still have licenses that they have agreed to with each club individually, so the likes of FC Barcelona, Manchester United, Juventus, et al. Might be teams they retain. It all depends on the contract length. We know that there's some rumours around 2 new Italian clubs being lined up for licenses, but we don't know who those are just yet. As for editing in PES 2022, it's still a little bit unknown at the moment. I imagine it's going to be possible because, as previously mentioned in one of my other videos, I spoke to a developer who says it depends whether Konami share the source code and make the tools available for the modders to do their thing, which personally I'm confident they will do. I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, without the modders and option files, etc., a fair amount of players would probably leave the franchise if that was the case. I just want to say firstly, thank you for all getting involved, and I just want to take a look at some of the things you've had to say on the matter. Mohammed says, this is a disgrace for football. They think these 12 clubs are big teams. They didn't realise their top players are from the small teams that they belittle. Honestly, this is just about money. They don't care about the leagues under them and the teams that supplies the players to them. Marcus Selecto says, football provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. Millie John says he's totally flabbergasted that this is happening now. I know the talk has been around for some time proposing a Super League format, but I always thought it was just to be fantasy and that this would always be shut down early by everyone but a handful of the greediest, most money-orientated club owners. I really, really hope if this actually ends up happening that the clubs involved will face unprecedented backlash and that the exodus of fans will be so great that the whole thing will implode on itself within a short time. He said, what about the players? Not all footballers respect the money more than the game. could we possibly see a player exodus of a two of a kind? That's a good point, but I like the example he's given. Burnley against Aston Villa, 2-2, Messi, Ronaldo, Modric and Salah. Very good. Razel Amy says, the richer get more richer, the poorer get more poorer. Created by the poor, stolen by the rich. Yeah, fair shape. Your Virtuoso, he says, I think it can be better than the Champions League. It seems similar to the NBA format. Huge franchises, every match day is big and a massive event. The leagues will still exist and the other clubs can still win some silverware and league titles. Just don't punish the international teams. I'm not sure who this is, so I do apologise that I can't read Arabic. It will breathe some life into the top teams. The same teams with the most money always winning the league and qualifying for the Champions League. The Premier League has essentially been a super league for a long time with the richest clubs able to buy their way to titles. Look how shocking it was when Leicester won the league. I'm all for sending these corporate and oil clubs to their own league. The Champions League and top 6 league titles might mean something then. Denny XXX says, as an overseas fan, I don't have a problem with the Super League. Most matches I watch are matches between the top sides and also most of Barca's game because I'm a Barcelona fan. So Super League would just give me more games to watch, though I totally understand how the native fans would feel about the Super League. Personally, I am absolutely disgusted and I think it's an absolute disgrace. And Rio Ferdinand is dead right when he said it's a war on football. Sure, it's great for the armchair fans who don't go to games, and I'll be honest, I no longer have the time to go to Old Trafford. I mean, the last time I went was when Sir Alex was in charge and we lost 3-2 to Spurs in 2012, I think it was. So for all those fans that go to the games home and away, especially the away games, they're no longer just like a coach fee or a tank of fuel. We're talking about flights, accommodation, both of which will see huge price spikes. Ticket types are going to thrive, you know, similar to the Champions League games, especially Champions League finals, you know, where tickets are being flogged for £1,000, £2,000 a pop. You know, it's going to be full of wine sippers and the prawn cocktail sandwich brigade. In my eyes, this is all about the money. And that's what makes it a really sad state of affairs. You know, back in the 60s and 70s, football was a shining light for many people in the dark days of the working class. You know, it was escape from misery and poverty. You know, an entertainment that brought hope and joy to so many people and so many fans around the world. You know, football is a money game now. Let's not get away from it. And I must say, something does need to change to stop the gap between the top clubs getting richer and becoming more dominant. But what this is definitely not the answer. It's just a real sad day for football, in my opinion. I saw a Man City fan saying he's seen it all with Man City. He's seen the relegations, the despair. But he said he's never been so embarrassed as he was yesterday when he found out Man City signed up for the European Super League. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of the European Super League? And I'm going to try and keep you guys up to date regarding license info and any other breaking European Super League news. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Take care of yourselves, stay safe. Bye-bye.